For most of us, creativity is a finite resource, which means that we're going to have periods where we can turn it on and it's free flowing and you can just knock out a song in 30 minutes. And you're also going to have periods where you might be a little bit drained and you open your DAW and you stare at it and you stare at it and you get nothing. You hit that writer's block. And it happens to all of us, but it can be super stressful and frustrating. However, I found a technique that I like to use when I've got this writer's block, especially if I've got clients that are waiting on a song or I've got a project coming up that I need to be turned on for. This is just something that you can do to kind of hurdle that creative block. And what we're going to do in this video today is we're going to look at the technique of basically recreating a popular song. So in this video, we're going to kind of take Mi Porto Bonito by Bad Bunny. And then what we're going to do is we're going to change every single element of it step by step. So we're going to change the key, the melody, we're going to change the tempo, we're going to change the drums. And by the end, you'll see that even if we start with just a basic recreation that takes 20 minutes and we change a bunch of stuff, by the end, we have a completely new song. And now we have something that we can work off of, not just a blank template. So we're going to do that in this video. But before we dive into Cubase and do all of that, my name's Austin. You're watching Make Pop Music, where we have weekly tutorials on music and music production. If you like this video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us out a ton. Let us know what videos you want to see in the comments down below. And then other than that, after this video, you can head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. We've got a bunch of other stuff over there. We've got a podcast, we've got sample packs, preset packs, MIDI packs. We have a full start to finish production course called Producer Principles 101. So go check that out after this tutorial because we have a ton of really, really cool stuff over there, even some freebies that you can grab. But let's hop into Cubase so we can recreate that Bad Bunny song and then go step by step until we have something completely new that we can work off of for a production. The first thing that you want to do with this technique is you want to find a song that you can use as inspiration, something that you're just really into, and something that is kind of similar, at least in basic style, to what you might want to create. So what we're doing is we're taking Mi Porto Bonito by Bad Bunny, and what I've done is I've basically just laid out a super similar synth, and I've just wrote out the MIDI for the lead melody line. So here's what it is. I'm going to try not to play too much of this so we don't get demonetized, but here is basically what we're extracting from the Bad Bunny song. Super simple, kind of like plucky kalimba lead. And then what we're doing is we just have a sub over that. So that is kind of the song in its most basic form. That's the thing that we're really going to build off of. I took it a step further and I even laid some reggaeton drums over it. So you've got that kick and that snare and the cabasa and the shaker. But here's kind of the ultimate vibe for the Bad Bunny song that we're going to use as our blank template to start changing things and getting a completely new song. So it's literally identical to the Bad Bunny song. However, we're not going to make a reggaeton song. We're going to make something that's a little bit trappier, a little bit more hip hop based, and we're going to change literally everything about this. So what I'll do is I'll just build out that very, very, very basic beat. I'm not going to go in and do a bunch of layers. I'm not going to go in and do a bunch of the ear candy from the original song because none of that should end up staying anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the MIDI from the kind of lead melody from Mi Porto Bonito. And what I'm going to do is just change some stuff. So I've got it over here. You can see that we're just changing notes. So we're stuck in the same key. So I believe this is C sharp natural minor. Yeah. So we're in C sharp minor. So you can see that we're changing the bass note. So now we're going from C sharp up to E, down to A, and then up to B. So that's kind of changing a little bit just to give us a slightly different feel. And then we've completely changed this top melody. So it uses a lot of the same notes, but we're swapping around the rhythm. We're swapping around the kind of movement that we've got. And then we're adding a couple notes that still fall within that key. And you can hear that it's not that different from this original Bad Bunny lead. But instead of starting on that A, we're starting on this C sharp, and then we're just adding some of those extra top melodies. So what you can do is change those chords, change those melodies, and then I'm going to have that sub that we have follow the new kind of bass line. So we're going to be going from C sharp to E to A to B. So instead of this, we're basically using that as a template and we're coming up with something like this. So now it's a completely different song. You don't have to worry about copyright. You don't have to worry about having to sample the Bad Bunny song. However, now we've got a template that we can start building off of. And to me, personally, when I have writer's block, if I can have anything, whether that's a melody loop or a chord progression or a cool sound, once I have one little spark, that's enough for me to kind of turn it on. So now we've got our new chords and we've got our new melody. Now what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to see what this sounds like if we add a different lead sound. So I want to get away from that kind of plucky island lead that we had for the Bad Bunny song, and I want to go for something that's going to have a little bit different tone. So I decided that this song has a kind of creepy atmosphere. So what I'm doing is I'm going for this like really processed Rhodes from Keyscape. And I'm just going to leave it like that. We don't need a bunch of stuff happening right now. This is just to get a starting point for us. And then what we're going to do is add a little bit of movement into that sub because we have those kind of standard hits that were left over from Mi Porto Bonito. But I want to add some movement because if we're going from reggaeton over to like trap and hip hop, we need some of that. So now we've got that kind of syncopated boom, 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 boom. And now we've got a completely new lead sound. So you can already hear that this sounds very different than this. So you can already start to understand that just by taking something like a simple recreation that takes 10 or 15 minutes, as long as you can kind of pick up the, the notes and the chords by ear, or if you can find the tabs or the MIDI or something like that, this is a really, really, really easy technique and exercise. And then just by experimenting and having some trial and error, now we've got something like this. And then we're going to keep taking it a step farther. What we're going to do now is we're going to change the tempo. So I had the Mi Porto Bonito at like 92. Let's bring this down to 80 because I find that that's kind of just like a really, really nice trap tempo, especially if you want to double time it to 160. So we're going to change this to 80. And then what we're also doing is we are changing the key of this. So we are taking this from the C sharp minor up to E minor. And that's just going to give us a completely new feel. So now we've got new chords, we've got a new melody, we've got a new key, and we've got a new tempo. So now it sounds nothing like this. Back to. Now what we can do is let's add the drums because we have these reggaeton drums over here that you can hear. But that's not the vibe that we want for this song. Instead, let's just find some pretty kind of basic trap drums and we can build off of that. So we've got a kick and a snare. I guess more like a clap, I should say. And then we've just got some trap hats. So now when we layer that over that new top melody that we have and that new bass line and chord progression that we have, we get something like this. And then what you can finally do is now you can start building this up to actually being a song. So when I work specifically, I'll try to come up with something that I call a song start, basically just a 4-bar or 8-bar or 16-bar loop. And then what I'll do is I'll figure out, is this going to be my verse or is this going to be my chorus? I'll build that up as big as I want to go, and then I'll kind of work backwards. So typically when I work, it's throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, pick out pieces that I want to kind of situate throughout the song, and then I will start arranging the song. So again, we've got a pretty good start. We've got drums, we've got a bass line, and we've got a top melody. That's enough, especially in a hip-hop track, to bed out most of a song. What you can do is you can take it a step farther. Let's start adding some of these layers. So for percussion, we're just going to add a little perk loop under it. That's just to give us a little bit of texture and a little bit of extra movement. The sub, I think we are literally just bringing over from earlier. But what we're doing is now we're going to add some extra counter melodies and bottom layers. So what we've done is I've just basically duplicated that lead onto a new patch. This is on the Lush Life Tron flutes, so like a Mellotron flute basically. And then this is where you can start having fun because now that you've got new chords, you've got a new melody, now you can just start kind of playing around. So what I'm going to do is add something like halftime. And a lot of the time in a hip hop song, I could just print this out and I could use this in the verse and use the other one in the chorus, or vice versa. However, I find that they kind of have this cool call and response when they play on top of each other. So here's what we have now with that lead, and then with that Tron flute kind of lower melody under it. And then you can take it a step farther and just add some kind of top melody just to kind of help other notes stand out. This is just like a mallet in Omnisphere that's got some movement. And now with all three of these, now we have a kind of synth group that feels a little bit more complete. And then if we add that with those new drums that we have, just some kind of standard trap drums and just kind of a really simple 808, now we've got something that doesn't feel as simple, and this feels like a good starting point for us to really go in and start changing chords, start adding a bunch of sound design, start adding ear candy here and there. Maybe we can make the drums a little bit more interesting and custom, but it just at least gives us something to start with rather than, looking at this can be really intimidating if you have no creative ideas and if you've kind of hit a creative wall, where looking at this can give you a little bit more inspiration to then get to something like this. So let's do a comparison one last time. Let's kind of hear what we started with. We turn this into this. Swapped out some sounds and added some movement. Change the key and the tempo. This is really where it starts to kind of take on its own body. Added some drums so we get this instead of this. And then just with some layering, we've started to get to somewhere that we can start calling this a song. And in this video, I want to keep everything basic. We're going to leave it off there, but this is really just about the importance of the simple technique of literally just copying something and then changing it as you go. There's a saying, good artists lie, great artists steal, and I do believe that to a certain point. However, I do think that there is limitations, right? Like, you don't want to take somebody's work without giving them credit. You don't want to, get somebody out of their credit if they are a co-writer or a producer. You don't want to have to not clear a sample just so you can kind of not pay something out. However, this is a good example of how you can take something as inspiration. You can literally copy it down to the T, and then you can go through and now you can turn on your creativity and you can start reverse engineering things. So changing synth lines, changing drum patterns, changing sounds, changing key, changing tempo. And before you know it, you don't have a Bad Bunny song. Now you have a song that is specifically for you. So in this video, I just wanted to cover taking one genre and changing it into something else, but you could easily do this and take a 1975 song, copy it, then change the chords, change the drums, and have something completely new. You don't even have to do as much as we did in this video, but again, this is a nice 20 to 30 minute exercise if you have a creative rut, and this will get you somewhere where you can at least start building off of. You can start writing top lines, you can start sending it out to artists. So hopefully this video was helpful for that. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Make sure you comment down below what videos you want to see in the near future. If you want to see more beginner-oriented videos like this, or videos where we just kind of talk about the creative flow, let us know. We don't cover this a lot. We do a lot of more advanced production techniques and longer form videos. But if you guys want shorter videos like this, just to kind of build up techniques that you could use in your day-to-day creative process, let us know in the comments down below. Other than that, head over to our website, makepopmusic.com, where you can check out our sample packs, preset packs. We've got MIDI packs, so you could use those to do something like this. We've got a brand new start to finish course where I kind of show you my entire creative process, and that is all over there. We also have a ton of free samples and presets that you can download from our freebies tab. But that's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week with much more content. I hope you're having a great 2023. Much love. Peace.